Welcome to Blind Cafe's Naked DJs podcast, where every day we expose ourselves to the very best music. Some days we like to shake it up, some days we let it all hang out, and others we just like to stick it out there for you to listen to.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Naked DJs podcast, brought to you by the DJs of Blind Cafe Radio. Today, we're joined by Lightning Blind Mike, DJ Maria, DJ Dr. Johnny Love, DJ Julie, aka Foxy Lady J. I am DJ Curveball. We got two interesting topics today. First, we're going to be talking about LL Cool J and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And then we're going to be talking about Amazon's Echo's iPods or AirPods, they called. So, first of all, we're going to kick it off talking about LL Cool J. Should he be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Well, I know he kind of had a song, Rock the Bells, that kind of had a little rock background. And I don't know if there's really anything like a hip hop Hall of Fame. I'm not 100% sure, but hey, I mean, LL Cool J is definitely good. He's definitely a legend. He might not be a rock and roll person, but he is a rapper. So we're going to bring it around to Johnny. First of all, you guys know who LL Cool J is? And start off with you. Absolutely. Let's start it off with Johnny and take it around.
Okay, well, I know who LL Cool J is. I like LL Cool J. To me, it's called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for a reason. It's rock and roll. I mean, it's not the Country Hall of Fame, which they got one. It ain't the R&B Hall of Fame, ain't the classical. It's rock and roll. And even though he had that one song or whatever, to me that doesn't qualify him to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's like Janet Jackson. Why is she in the Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Did she do anything rock and roll? I don't think so. I think if you're going to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you got to do rock and roll. That's just me, though. Now, on the other hand, if Run DMC, who did the Walk This Way with Aerosmith, we could sit there and go, hey, they should be in there because of that. And I would agree. But still, they're mostly known for the rap and hip hop. And I don't think they should really be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame either. Basically, if you're going to do hip hop, they should make a hip hop Hall of Fame. It's rock and roll. You're going to do rock and roll. You put them in there. That's just how I feel about it.
Well, what about the Beastie Boys? The Beastie Boys are rappers, but they do a lot of rock. They have a lot of rock beats and stuff. What about them? Just a side question.
A side question, yeah, they did a lot of rap, but they also did a lot of rock beats and stuff. For that matter, Kid Rock. There's another one we could throw into the mix there because he started out doing rap. So did I think Uncle Cracker. Kid Rock kind of did some rock, but now he's more geared towards the country. But
yeah, exactly.
No, I don't think that. I mean, are the Beastie Boys in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
That I don't know, but if they're not, there should be.
I think I'm actually right there with Johnny on the whole thing because yes, they have some rock tunes, yeah, or some sounds to it. They got that sound to it or whatever, but rock and roll and rapping are still just two different things. I see where you're coming from, Curtis, as in the, because they have the rock sound to them, they should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But I just think that rock and rap, I didn't even know that Janet Jackson made it to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That slipped right by me. But when I saw the thing about LL Cool J, I said, wait a minute, I know LL Cool J. He sings, back in the day, he was singing songs like I Need Love and I can't think of a couple others now for some reason, but, he's definitely a rapper. It's not rock. And just because they throw a little bit of guitar or sounds in there like that, I just don't think it's rock and roll to me.
I totally agree with you. He's been nominated 6 times and not entered there yet, and they are having a competition. Personally, I'm with Johnny. Everything he said, I agree. That's not what I call rock and roll.
I agree that it is not rock and roll. I even just now listened to a little piece of Rock the Bells. I don't think that would qualify him as someone who makes music that belongs as rock in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But I'm reminded of, other artists, even Ma Rainey, who recorded in the 1920s, not rock, was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Maybe there's some influence on other artists who are rock. What is the criteria that has them decide to put someone into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? It might not be just the music that they put out. That's the question that I would ask. What kind of influence could LL Cool J have had? Is that a possible avenue for him to have been inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Yep, I like that theory because I was just in there thinking, LL Cool J, maybe he wrote some songs that he didn't produce or rap. Maybe he wrote some rock songs that other groups actually sang.
Okay.
Well, Maria, what about the Beastie Boys, Maria? Go ahead, Johnny.
Okay, now that's a possibility what MJ said. And if he did that, I might give that some consideration if it was done by a rock band. I mean, I know one of the criteria rules to be in or to be nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is you got to be doing your act for over 25 years. Okay? And for that matter, why have they not put Pat Benatar in the Hall of Fame yet? I think she belongs in there too.
And I don't consider electric drums and everything done by keyboard considered rock. I mean, I want to hear real drums. I want to hear real bass guitars. I want to hear real, the other guitar? I can't think of it now.
You want to hear a lead guitar.
Lead guitar, thank you.
But in a lot of the music these days, you might not hear that anyway. But Maria, what do you think about the Beastie Boys? Do you think they should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I'm not saying they're not. They might already be. We all know the song "You Gotta Fight for Your Right to Party" and "No Sleep in Brooklyn," I think it's called.
Yes, they did "No Sleep Till Brooklyn," Brass Monkey, "You Gotta Fight for Your Right to Party," Intergalactic. One of my favorites is "Sabotage." And Google.
Chuck D
They were
and
inducted.
LL Cool J in 2012, and they were inducted by them.
That's what I was just about to say, MJ. Nice way of segueing that, man. I like that. See, me and him are on it.
So, still, it's not, to me, you need to give me an outline because, again, Janet Jackson, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, there's nothing rock about her whatsoever.
Beastie Boy, I don't know. I think that could be considered rock or a fusion.
I don't know, Curtis.
I think Beastie Boys would go in more than LL because they did a lot more rock songs with the rock beats and stuff.
The beat, yeah.
But again, what is the criteria? Because it might be some behind the scenes stuff other than just writing or rapping rock songs or singing rock songs.
Well, like I said, I know one of the criteria is you got to be doing your act or band. You got to be doing it for 25 years or more. So I know that's one.
Well, can I be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I did a song, Living Life Like a Rock Star. And I've been rapping for over 25 years.
Maybe you should be, but I'm thinking that, if it's some sort of a legend or some sort of an artist who had an influence on rock, and how do we decide that?
Well, I just was looking this up real quick. The rules for to be put into the induction Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you have to be doing this for 25 years from your very first record. Also, it says you have to give contribution and Oh, the word that you just used, Maria. But I haven't seen anything about, it didn't say anything about writing songs. It didn't say anything to that effect whatsoever. So what do they mean by contribution? I mean, as in playing rock music?
Did
If that's
LL
what they
Cool
mean by
J
that, then that, it still doesn't qualify him.
Okay,
does
here's
he
what I
did he
got. 'Cause
help shape the face of rock music at all?
Okay, here's what I got because I looked it up on Google. It says criteria includes the influence and significance of the artist's contributions to the development and perpetuation of rock and roll. Block approval voting is used with those nominees who receive the most votes being inducted, subject to a minimum of 50% approval. Okay.
It's not completely objective, of course.
No Hall of Fame is completely objective.
No, I mean, look at the Wrestling Hall of Fame. They're just throwing whoever in there now just to make themselves big.
No. You mean the WWE? That's not a
Yes.
real Hall of Fame, man. They got a
No, I
real.
know.
They got a legit Hall of Fame.
Yes, they do.
Ozzy Osbourne. Julie, you've been quiet. What do you think about it? The Beastie Boys, LL Cool J, all that good stuff. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't listen to enough Beastie Boys or LL.
It took me so long to answer because I had to listen to some Beastie Boys in order to answer Chris's question.
But if
Check
you
out
ask me
Backseat of My
about,
Jeep.
but if you really, oh, no, that must be a song. But if you ask me about Aerosmith or
ZZ Top.
Journey, or yes, if you ask me about actual rock stars, then I would say they should be in there. But to me, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was people like Elvis and
Chuck
the
Berry.
rock people. Yes, that kind of rock and roll.
And I'm thinking Ma Rainey, since Maria mentioned Ma Rainey, now if she's in there, she probably is in there because of the influence
Yes.
she had on some of the rockers and stuff. Because let's face it, now rock and roll came from what? Country and gospel too, right?
Country, blues, gospel, and hit parade too. Just kind of a fusion of those.
And that's why I mentioned Backseat of My Jeep, because Backseat of My Jeep, the beat is used in another R&B song. So LL could have influenced or add some samples and inspired other people to do things. And that's why he's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
So would that make, here's another couple groups that Julie's not really familiar. What about MC Hammer or Vanilla Ice when they are covering?
Excuse me, I know who MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice is.
First of all, Vanilla Ice does not ever, and I mean ever, go into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
But my point is they were covering the music of other artists to help out while they rap. So it was other people's music, but they were rapping to it. Would that?
Yeah, but there was one difference though. Hammer asked permission from Rick James. Ice didn't.
Yes, but I'm still asking though, does it still consider him rock and roll because he's using rock and roll music?
No.
If they vote him in, then it is what it is, but I don't know if they have or not, but like they said, it's what the voters think.
The point right there.
Right, Backseat of My Jeep got kind
listeners. Curtis, why don't you ask our listeners what they think and see if we can get their opinion?
Yeah, guys, go ahead and drop those comments in the comment sections. Let us know what you think about different people in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Do you think they need to be there? Do you think they don't need to be there? What were you saying about Backseat of My Jeep, Maria?
I think it's got a good beat, and I mean, I guess it kind of shows how you can take something that's that slow kind of bluesy rock and make it rap and hip hop.
Can I play it on my Friday Night Vibes dance party?
Sure, you definitely could, but I don't think people will be doing much dancing to it.
So my final word of this is that I'm a true believer in the hard rock and roll. It's got to be rock and roll. And I know it's the votes of the people anyway right now, because nobody's really doing rock and roll anymore. It's all this pop stuff and everything else. I haven't heard one. There's maybe one or two rock and roll bands that's released a couple albums lately, and that's it. And it's alternative rock and adult rock, or whatever you want to call it, and a lot of pop right now. So, and
I think
everyone's using the electronic equipment. Go ahead, Julie.
I think we're all old-fashioned. We call rock and roll rock and roll.
We're old school. We ain't old fashioned. Young whippersnapper.
I just think things are evolving and changing, and whatever sells is what they're going to do. Anybody else got any final comments on this subject?
Yes, actually, I was just going to say, because Julie just made a good point. I was just telling Julie, what was it, about a month or so ago, that country had this heavy beat. It's a whole new style country. Now, a lot of this country songs that are coming out is bringing back the old school country. And that's going in a full circle right now. So maybe rock and roll will come back in a full circle.
Yeah, steel guitar, baby. Oh.
And if somebody done a hip hop album, should they be in the Country Hall of Fame?
No, because only one person's done hip hop, and that was Cowboy Troy. And I listened to one of the albums, and it was okay. But the only reason he got where he was friends with Big and Rich and Gretchen Wilson. So no.
What about a country rapper?
No.
No, because that's country. They might be inducted into the Country Hall of Fame for doing it because they sing country and they rap it in areas, just like they do with the pop. They sing it and then they have their little rap sessions and stuff like that. So I don't know. Like I said, it's with the voter, but I'm old school and I like the real rock and roll with the lead guitar and everything.
I think that the differences between the different genres of music is more fluid than that, though. You can't always just say, oh, he's just country. Oh, he's just rap. Or he's just rock.
Okay, that means I guess when I do my country show, I can rap out a tune after I get done playing with it, right? Okay, I can do that.
No,
Because I mean, you have some people that are rappers, but they can also sing as well. If you guys remember Domino back in the 90s, he was kind of a rapper and a singer. So I mean, you can kind of blend the two together, just like country and rap. Those country rap tunes.
No, I don't remember Domino. I played dominoes and I remember the song Domino, but I don't remember Domino.
Yeah, and you also remember Domino's Pizza. With that said, we're going to take a short commercial break and let you hear from the Comic Collection. We appreciate the Comic Collection for sponsoring the Naked DJs podcast. We'll be right back in around 60 seconds. Do you love collecting comic books? How about action figures? Are you looking for that special gift for someone? Then the Comic Collection is the place for you. They have Pokemon, vinyls from days gone by, collectible CDs, and so much more. If you have questions about the Comic Collection, call Dave at 215-357-3332. That's 215-357-3332. Or visit them on the web at www.thecomiccollection.net, where you can enjoy prices lower than you will find at the mall. That's www.thecomiccollection.net. All right, you are tuned into the Naked DJs podcast, brought to you by the Naked DJs of Blind Cafe Radio. Let's go ahead and switch over to our second topic, the Amazon Echo Buds versus the Apple AirPods. And it's supposed to be releasing a third generation. Amazon doesn't have the stems. Right now, Apple does, but they might drop it. There's some similarities between the case and different things in the article. I will tell you my AirPods, for some reason, people say I sound muffled when I try to use mine. So maybe I might have to give those Amazon Echo Buds a try. $119. You can add $20 onto it and get the wireless charging case. Does anybody in the panel have any AirPods or Echo Buds? Do you plan on buying them? What's your opinion? Let's start it off with Julie, since she discovered the article.
I didn't get time to read the article. I started to, when I first saw it, to send it to Michael, I just thought it would be very interesting for us to discuss because, like you said, people say you sound muffled. So I thought, are they good quality for recording and listening?
I've actually heard people own AirPods that I've done interviews with on my show, and they do sound good. And my issue could be something with my phone, because I do know my internal speaker. If I try to send a audio message through messages, my speaker is messed up, but I can hear everything perfect. So my issue might not be with the quality or anything like that. It might just be another issue. But the AirPods do sound real good. They're real bassy if you play music through them. And I've heard people sound really good on them. MJ, what do you think?
Well, I have wireless earbuds, but nothing like that. And I have been looking at the AirPods, but now that we're talking about it, and I'm hearing some of the, I guess you'd say, customer service or customers' reviews on it, as in the muffledness and everything else, I'm not sure which one I'm going to go with then, because now I do have wireless earbuds, and I will give you this: they're not a name brand for the most part, but they do connect quite nicely, and the quality isn't really that bad. And of course, the price was decent. And the main thing is that I could actually walk through the entire house and not lose connection with these earbuds from my phone. So it picks up a nice little distance. So these earbuds or the earbuds or the iPods or whatever they're called, if their signal is just as strong as are the ones that I have now, then I would be happy with them, as in getting the new ones, especially with the quality of the beat and the sound.
Dr. Johnny Love, you got any of those AirPods or Echo Buds?
Sir, I don't use AirPods or earbuds or anything like that. I don't like anything sticking in my ear. That if I'm using headphones, it's the over the ear kind. I'm just very, very picky about it. And I mean, would I try them out if someone handed me a pair of AirPods and said, "Here, try these"? I'd give it a shot. I mean, I've looked at them. I've kind of wondered, okay, I mean, what's the stem for? I mean, is it like an antenna? Is it Bluetooth? I mean, how does it work? As for the price, Apple is always going to, sell overcharge, I think. Now, Amazon doing it, I mean, they're charging cheaper, so they're going to try to undercut Apple. I don't know if I would give them a shot, though. I mean, if anything, I would go with the Apple before I would go with the Amazon myself and try that out. But hey, like I said, if someone wanted to hand me a pair of Amazon or a pair of Apple and say try it out, I would. But other than that, I don't really use them myself. I don't really understand that much about them.
I would do the Apple over the Amazon first, just because of their name and the quality they try to release all the time. Amazon isn't really known for electronics, as in, making things, and Apple is. So I would choose Apple over Amazon.
The thing with it is, if you have Apple devices, these AirPods can seamlessly switch back and forth. So if you have Apple devices and you get to Amazon, the connectivity isn't going to be seamless like that. Maria, what do you think?
I was struck by the difference in the battery life. They say that Amazon has slightly less or a little bit less, but it's actually 15 hours versus the 24 hours you get with Apple, which to me is a lot better. I don't think this speaks too much to the quality of the music. A lot of it has to do with the style and comfort of the earbuds, it sounds like. So, I mean, I think that I would go with Apple too, even though I think Apple only comes in white, not black. It just, the difference is, I mean, that's the main difference that I can see that would make a difference to me.
Now, Curtis, I know you have a pair of one or the other. Are they comfortable? Are they soft? Are they uncomfortable?
They are comfortable. They fit in your ear just like the headphones that Apple used to give out with the phones with the cord. They fit in your ear just like that. So I actually like them as far as fitting in your ear. I just got to figure out my issue with them, and I would enjoy them. But they sound real good when you're listening to stuff.
I think a lot of the listeners would like to know what issue you're having so that if they decide they want to get a pair.
Well, for some reason, if I try to make a call on them or something, they say that I'm muffled, and I've actually tried to send a test audio message to myself. That is true. But again, I don't think it's I need to do a test with my iPad with them because I don't think it's an AirPod issue. I think it's a internal speaker issue. Listeners off, or I would definitely get iPods, AirPods. I keep getting it mixed up. Too many and all that stuff like that. But they have the regular ones and they also have the pro versions. So you can upgrade and go ahead and grab those pro versions as well. And you can get a wireless charging case with both, I think, the Echo Buds and the AirPods.
So is that all it comes with? The pro version is just the charging case? Is that the total difference of that?
I think the Pro has a little more features. I forget what those features are, and they definitely have a different price tag, about $100 more.
Wow. Julie, I know that you don't use Earbuds or AirPods or anything, but would you actually try them or use them if you got a pair of one of them?
Yeah, if somebody gave me a pair of the Apple ones and they were comfortable, and I like the way you just said you could walk all over the house with yours, I have no objection. What's the difference between sorry, Maria, what's the difference between an AirPod and a bud?
That was going to be my same question, but I just figured it's probably just the name of their earbuds are just called the AirPods, right, Curtis? Or is there a significant difference between earbuds and AirPods?
It's basically the Echo Buds are made by Amazon. The AirPods are made by Apple. So it's basically competition like Echo and the A-Lady or, the Fire TV and Apple TV. So it's basically companies competing against each other, trying to get people's business. And the case does have kind of similarities right now. The Echo Buds doesn't have the stem, but the AirPods does, and the AirPods are planning on dropping the stem. They just came out with the second generation of the Echo Buds, and the Pro is going to be coming out here in late 2021 or early 2022. So it's just nice little competition, trying to get people's business and one up each other.
I've got a dumb question.
Me too. How much are they?
I think Curtis said about $149, as in the ones from Amazon. I think $20 more. You said, Curtis, was the Apples.
You can get the Echo Buds for $119, but if you want the wireless charging case, add $20 on to it. You can get the AirPods, if I remember correctly, for like $130, and if you want to get a wireless charging case with the regular, I think it may be like $30 or $40. But if you get the Pro, it comes with the case, but I think they're like $200 and some odd dollars.
Yikes. What are the stems? What do they do? Do they help hold them in your ears or something?
That's a good question. I think it's more for the signal. Was the stems was a lot of the signal, and it was easy to put them in your ear and hold on to them so you have something to pull in or out of your ear. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen without the stems. But I think that's what the stems were mainly for, was for the signal, for the connection, for the Bluetooth connection, and the signal for the distance.
Well, I can tell you this now. Kathy doesn't have earbuds like wireless. I mean, she can take a phone call while she's wearing them and not have to like get on her phone, and she can listen to things like that. I mean, so I guess they're kind of like AirPods or whatever like that. I mean, but is that what they're kind of like? If I'm talking about the right thing here.
Do they fall out of your ears easily?
I've only had mine fall out once if you put them in. Now, I don't know about the Echo Buds. And as far as your question, Johnny, yes. In fact, Apple has a hearing aid section in their settings. So they do focus on that. So yes, they are kind of like hearing aids.
Very cool. Now let's go back old school real quick, because when I first met Julie about 6 years ago, she had her iPhone, which I had an iPhone, but it was nothing like what she had and all that back then. And she ended up getting a Bluetooth earpiece, and that thing was huge. So you can imagine how small, all the connection Bluetooth things and all that are now. But I remember when it clipped over her ear and everything, it covered the whole ear. It had the little square box to it. So it had you can hear everything, and it had all the devices and the signals and the Bluetooth, all that inside of it. But yeah, those things were huge.
You mean she didn't have a Walkman?
It seemed like it could have been big enough for a Walkman, but no.
I had one of those too.
You still have one of them around?
Hey, I actually had one of those portable CD players at one time and a Walkman. Thank you.
Oh, I did too, but I don't have anything like that anymore.
Johnny still got his.
Well, Johnny's old.
It's somewheres.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you got any final comments? Anybody got any final comments on this topic?
I think it would be great if some of our listeners in the comment section told us what they thought about us, but as Curtis says, birds.
And because you love rock and roll, I bet the sound comes through great for rock and roll.
Yeah, I was going to say, listeners, drop the comments in the comment section. Are you going to be getting some Echo Buds or those AirPods? And speaking of Bud, we're 5 days actually away from 420. But anyway, drop those comments in that comment section. And any of you guys got any final comments?
I'm down.
I thought Bud was made by Weiser myself.
You just stole my joke.
Actually, the frogs are what makes the Bud wiser.
Bud.
Wise. I remember those frogs, but yes. So my final opinion of between the two, I think I will go ahead and try the Apple ones, and then I will return them, and then I will get the Amazon ones, and I will return them, and then I'll come back and later down the line and tell you which ones I like the best.
I would try.
That sounded sort of cheap, didn't it? I will keep both of a pair, I swear.
I would try the Apple, even though I don't have I'm an Android person, but I would try the Apple just because of the name brand. But out of curiosity, though, I would try the Amazon, the Echo Buds too, just to see what it's all about. Now, if anybody wants to, kind of send some to me to test out, hey, I'm cool there,
My birthday's coming up.
Well, I haven't tried either one, and whenever I used those little tiny earphones that fit inside your ear, they kept falling out, and I hated them. I'm guessing these are better than that. So I really don't know. I'm not about to buy either one.
All right. Well, if nothing else, we're going to do like some frogs and jump right on out of here for this week. Like to thank you guys for joining us and listening and supporting the Naked DJs podcast. The Naked DJs podcast is brought to you by the DJs of Blind Cafe Radio, where every day we expose ourselves to the best of music just so we can stick it out there for you to listen to. And now we go from frogs to the kangaroo to close it out. See you next time, everybody, from the station that raises Cain.
Go and check out Blind Cafe Radio at blindcaferadio.com, and also follow us on Twitter at Blind Cafe Radio and on Facebook at Blind Cafe Radio. Make sure you visit our webpage at blindcaferadio.com, where you can visit our naked DJ. And this is the Blind Cafe Kangaroo signing off.